guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be telling you about my college experience in honor of back to school season, and it was kind of a horror story. But yeah, if you guys are interested, keep on watching. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. I'm gonna go ahead and hop right into it. Yeah, my hair is coming down. I had a nice little braid. What happened? But before we start this video, I want to tell you guys that today's video is sponsored by Spindrift. And Spindrift is basically just like a sparkling water made with real fruits, and that is like what sold me, because I don't like artificial stuff like that. So I don't drink pop at all. If you're a person who doesn't like the taste of water, this will be perfect for you. So I'm just gonna be drinking this throughout the video, you know, because I'm gonna be parched telling this story because it's a long story with a lot of ups and downs. It's not something that I want to relive, but I'm going to do it for you guys. So I graduated high school in 2012, and my intention was to go to college and graduate in 4 years and just be a successful black woman. And basically I had like no type of dream school in high school. Like, I didn't have like a school in mind that I wanted to attend, but I knew that I wanted to stay in state for school because I know that out of state tuition is ridiculous and I would never be able to afford that. So I wanted to stay in state for school. So like towards my junior year of high school, like I really buckled down. Like, I took school very seriously. I got straight A's because I wanted to get into a good I wanted to get into a good school, and I wanted to get a good scholarship. So I got into every school that I applied to, but I didn't know what school I wanted to attend. So I basically would like tour the schools and see which one I thought was a good fit for me. And I really wanted to go to Columbia College, and that is like an art school downtown Chicago. And I thought that it was just like, I thought everyone who went there was like super cool and artsy, and that's how I was back then. I was really into art, and I wanted to go to Columbia. But I found out the tuition for Columbia was extremely expensive, and they weren't offering me any type of scholarship or any type of grants or anything like that. So obviously I could not go there. So I decided to go to DePaul University, which is right by Columbia. They have a campus downtown Chicago, and they have a campus in Lincoln Park. And I decided to go to DePaul because it was right by Columbia. Like, come on. That's how I was thinking back then. I was like, I'm going to go to DePaul because it's right next door to Columbia, and I can hang out with the Columbia kids, and my life is going to be so much better than it is now. Boy, was I wrong, okay? So, you know how you watch these little movies on TV and BET with the college kids, like Stump the Yard and all those little college movies, and you're like, yeah, my life is gonna be like that? No, my life was not like that. Like, no. Like, you know how people be like, oh, you're gonna gain 15 pounds. I thought I was gonna get to college, I was gonna get thick. I lost 15 pounds. I was so stressed out. But anyways, back to the story. After high school graduation, I ended up enrolling in DePaul, and they had like this summer program where you can get like extra credits before college actually starts, and I did that. Didn't get the credits because it was a math class, and I ended up getting like a C, and you could only get the credits if you got like a B or higher or something like that. But basically I was enrolled in DePaul, and I was like downtown. I was talking to like the financial aid department, and they basically I thought that everything was covered. Like, I thought that everything was paid for because they told me I had all these scholarships and I had all these grants, and I thought that everything was paid for. I can enroll in classes, and they were sending me over like the housing contracts and stuff. And they basically asked me like, which dorm do I want to live in? So I thought I was set, okay? So I obviously chose the dorm downtown because I didn't want to be in Lincoln Park. I wanted to be downtown, so I chose the dorm downtown. I chose to live in the UC, and the UC is the University Center, and basically the UC had housing for Roosevelt, which is another college downtown, Columbia, and DePaul students. So that dorm was super nice. Like, it was like a hotel. It was super nice. So imagine the cost of that dorm, y'all. I'm living in this dorm, y'all. I'm thinking everything is paid for, y'all. I moved in, and we moved in probably like 2 weeks before school started. We moved in the middle of August, and school didn't start until like September because, you know, DePaul is on the quarter system, so we didn't start school until September. So imagine like being downtown on your own, independent, free. My mom was super strict growing up, so this was like my first taste of independence. So I was super happy. Like, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Freedom. I was so happy. And my roommate was like super cool. Like, we got along like this. And we were meeting so many different people. Like, we met so many people, made so many friends that first week, and everything was great. It was like I was on cloud 9, and then I just went crashing down fast. It went down fast. So when school started, like 2 weeks after we moved in, like I was basically in school mode. Like, I turned a switch on my head and I just directly focus on school. Like, none of that partying, none of that stuff we was doing. We didn't even really party like that, but none of that, like, just la-di-da-di-da-di we were doing before school was in session. I need to get serious. So that is how I was thinking. The one thing that really was hard about DePaul was that well, back then, like, I'm talking about how it was like in 2012. Like, when I just graduated, like, it wasn't nearly as bad as it was back then. So their whole motto is diversity. When I got inside of that classroom the first day, I was the only black person in there, and it was really hard for me. Like, when you grew up around black people your whole entire life, I went to a high school that was like 100% black, and I love being around my people. So being around, not being able to be around my people, not seeing them on campus, none of that, it was super hard for me. And I just felt like I just stuck out like a sore thumb, and it was just hard. Like, I noticed that, like, it was a lot of it wasn't like blatant racism, but it was a lot of racism on my campus, and like a lot of like just like Republicans and stuff like that. And if I would have known that it would have been like that, I would have never chosen to go to that school, like, at all. And when I was in high school, they kind of made it seem like, you know, don't go to a HBCU, like, don't, you know, I don't know, like, they just kind of made it seem like going to a HBCU was like a bad thing. If I could go back in time, I would definitely have went to a HBCU, just because I like being around my people, and I think that I would have had a better college experience. But back to the story, I'm getting sidetracked again. So about 5 weeks into the first quarter is around the time that you can start registering for the next quarter's classes. So I went to go log in to register for classes, and I had a hold on my account. I couldn't register. So I was like, what the hell is going on? Why can't I register for classes? You know, it's a lot of different reasons why they might put a hold on your account. Maybe you haven't met with your advisor or talked to them yet, or, you know, it's different reasons they put holds on your account. But my reason was because I didn't have enough money. Like, I owed the school money. So I was like, did financial aid not come through, or like, did these grants not apply to my tuition yet? Like, what's going on? So I went down to the financial aid office, and I started talking to people, and they were basically like, yo, you owe $10,000, or was it like $12,000? It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. You had to pay this before you can enroll in next quarter's classes. And I was devastated. Like, I was like, what? Like, I thought all of this was paid for. Like, how could y'all even have me up in these dorms, up in these classrooms, acting like everything is cool, when I thought that all of this was paid for? Like, I was so shocked. Like, I thought everything was paid for. I thought those scholarships like covered all that stuff, but apparently it did not. So now I'm basically in panic mode. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna come up with $10,000. What am I gonna do? And they broke down everything to me. They broke down everything, that all of my expenses to me. And the main expense was that I was living in that expensive dorm. Like, that dorm was nice, but your girl don't got $10,000 to be up in the dorm, okay? First thought was, I need to get out of this dorms immediately. Like, I need to get out of the dorms. Like, how do I forfeit this contract? What do I got to do? And I think I had to pay to get out of the dorms. Like, I think probably my mom had to pay because I ain't had no money back then. So, they basically told me that I had to pay for the time that I already stayed, and they could forfeit the contract, but you know, you're still gonna have to pay for the time that you already stayed. So that probably knocked everything down to probably like $7,000 that I owed them. So now I have to move back home, right? So I'm all sad and stuff. I gotta leave, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, I was fortunate that, you know, I live in Chicago. Like, I don't live in the suburbs somewhere or away somewhere or anything like that. Like, I live literally like 45 minutes away from my campus. So I moved back home, you know. So I moved back home, and I was taking the train to school every day. And the train, it took about an hour and a half to get to campus every day. And I would just do that every day. Mind you, I still owe $7,000. So how am I gonna come up with this $7,000? That was my whole thing. So I already moved back home, you know, like, what more can I do? So my sister was all like, you need to get a job, because I had a job all throughout college and you're just a lazy bum and you need to get a job. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try to get a job. So I was like searching high and low for jobs, applying here, applying there. No one's calling me back. I'm not getting any type of communication or anything like that. So I'm sad. I'm on a train one day. I was just like sad on a train one day, and one of my sister's friends got on the train. I was talking to him, and he was just like, yeah, I just came from work. And I was just like, yeah, I'm looking for a job. It's hard out here. And he was just like, oh, okay, I can get you a job. You can work in my place. So I was like, oh, snap, okay, you're gonna give me a job, okay? So he ended up getting me a job because he was like the manager. And it was at this fast food hot dog joint called American Dog. And those hot dogs were actually really good. The only good thing about that job was the fact that we got free food. That was the only good thing about that job. The rest of it was horrible. It was the worst job ever. So I was working this job. I was like washing the dishes. I was just sweeping the floors. I was taking orders. I was doing all of this, and I was still in school. And it was kind of hard because, you know, like the job was a little bit further down from school, so it was like an hour and 45 minutes on the train, and then I'll have to come to school and I'll have to do all this. And but I was still, you know, grateful because I was still in school. Like, I didn't have to like leave school at the time. Package in the mail. This is a long story, y'all. I'm still not done. I'm not even halfway done. So basically, I'm working this job and going to school at the same time, but the job wasn't paying me anything. Like, it was paying me pennies. I think I was getting like $7-something an hour, and that was not gonna help me get the $7,000 that I needed to continue my education. So it was just really stressful on me. I ended up getting like really sick, And you know, the thing about me is that I've noticed over the years is like I can't handle that much stress because I get like really sick. My body can't take it because the only thing on my mind is like, how am I going to continue schooling? I'm going to be a failure. You know, I was just like thinking like all these negative thoughts, and that's not something that you should ever do, is thinking negative thoughts, because one thing I've noticed throughout my whole entire life is when I think negative, negative things happen. When I think positive, positive things happen. So, but yeah, I was thinking really negative thoughts at the time. And I ended up getting fired from that job. And they didn't even fire me. Like, they didn't even like straight out, you're fired. They just stopped putting my name on the time card. Like, what is it called? Like when you look and see the schedule for next week. They stopped putting my name on there. So I was just like, so I'm not working next week? Why isn't my name on there? They're just like, oh, you know, we haven't been having that many customers. We don't need you next week. Yo, like, they didn't put my name on the time card for like 3 weeks. And I was just like, okay, I guess I don't work here. I guess I don't work here anymore. So when that started happening, I immediately started looking for another job. And I was looking high and low for another job. I ended up walking into the water tower. It was actually around right before like the holiday season was hiring, so a lot of places was hiring. So I walked into the water tower and I got a job at American Girl as a doll hairstylist. And American Girl is basically like a toy store for kids, like a doll toy store. I'll insert some pictures or whatever. But like when you walk into American Girl, it's just like like all of your childhood dreams like just come true. Like, it's such a beautiful place, but it was such a horrible job. I hated working there, but I really liked the customers. Like, I really liked the little girls, like the little kids that came in, but I was just really bad at my job. And that is just something that I've noticed throughout my work experiences, that I'm really bad at working for people. Like, that is why I just don't want to work for people, because I'm just horrible at it. But I was a doll hairstylist and I didn't know how to do the doll's hair. Doing doll's hair is completely different from doing human hair. Like, it's not the same. So I got demoted and they put me in the t-shirt shop and I became the t-shirt girl. That job ended up ending because it was seasonal or whatever. But the pay was decent. Like, it was getting like $10 an hour, but it still wasn't enough for me to continue my education. So what I did was I made it up in my mind. Like, I wasn't liking school anyway. Like, I was just like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, I'll just transfer. I'll go someplace else. Like, I didn't really like DePaul. Like I said, like, it just wasn't like a welcoming place. And I owed them so much money. Like, I owe these people so much money. I don't feel welcome here. I was getting really depressed. Like, I was getting really down on myself, and I just wanted to drop out of school. So I was just like, I told my mother that I would take a semester off, but in my mind, I was like, I'm not ever going back to school. School is not for everyone. Bill Gates dropped out of school. You know, Oprah dropped out of school. I don't know if she did, but like in my mind, I was like, all of these famous people dropped out of school and they're still successful. I'm gonna be like that. So I dropped out of school, y'all. Now in my mind, I wasn't going back. So it was like really cold outside too. And you know, when it get cold outside, depression goes up, okay? Because it's like you're miserable. So that's how I was feeling at the time. And so I was just like crying every day. I was sad. I was depressed. I was just like, what is my life? I'm a failure, you know. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. So my mom was like, well, you don't have to go back to DePaul, but you need to choose another school to go to. And I was just like, I ain't going back to school. I'm thinking that in my head, like, I ain't going back to school. And she was just like, well, come September or come August, you need to be enrolled in another school. So I'm just like, oh, I'm just like crying and stuff. And just like looking around, looking for for schools and stuff, and I'm just like, what am I going to do that's going to make me happy? Because, you know, I'm going through a deep depression right now, and I need to figure out a way to stop crying every day. So I was like, well, I love fashion. Like, I was really, really into fashion back then, and I was just like, I'm gonna go to fashion school and I'm gonna major in fashion merchandise. Like, looking around for fashion schools and stuff like that, and obviously I couldn't go to FIDM or anything like that. I didn't want to go to New York, so I decided to go to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and I went to the one in Atlanta. And my mom was like, okay, we're gonna go down there, we're gonna tour the school, see if you like it, you're gonna apply, and that's gonna be that. And we went down there, and one of my cousins was actually he actually lived in Atlanta, so like he met up with us, and like we toured the school together and everything. I really, really liked the school. Like, I liked the school. I was like, okay, I'll go here. I ended up getting a scholarship to go there. I think it was like a minority scholarship or something like that. And I wrote like this essay for like the creative writing scholarship, and I got that as well. So I was like, yeah, everything seems to be looking up. Like, my life really seems to be looking up. And my cousin was like, oh, you can stay with me and my wife. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't have to pay for housing. I got this scholarship to go here. Everything is gonna be great. I'm gonna just move down here to Atlanta, and I'm gonna start my life. So that was the plan, right? Weeks before I was supposed to move down there, my mom is like calling my cousin, you know, trying to communicate with him. He's not answering the phone. He's not talking to us like at all. So my mom called his mom, which is her auntie, and basically I guess he didn't want me to stay with him anymore. So I don't know why this man couldn't just say this. Like, he's a grown man. Like, he could have just said, like, listen, me and my wife, we can't let you stay, you know, give me a chance to get myself together and find another place to stay. But he didn't do that. So I ended up contacting another one of my cousins, and they're like this older couple, and she basically like begged them to let me stay with them, and they were just like, okay, she can stay with us, but for $600 a month. Now, mind you, this is blood. $600 a month. I could have got my own place for that, but my mom was like, okay, all right, we can do it, you know. Like, that's like, no, I could have got my own place for $600 a month, you know. And like, the type of person that my mom is just crazy, because like, if that was like her blood or anybody, like, my mom let one of my friends stay with us for free, and ended up one of my ex-friends now, but she let her stay with us for free, and the girl was like getting an attitude and stuff, and I'm just like, damn, I had to pay $600 a month to stay with my own family, so what the hell are you getting an attitude for? Like, you're staying here for free. So it's just crazy, like, that these people was trying to charge so much. But at the end of the day, like, I still was grateful to have a place to stay. So my mom was paying them $600 a month, and she was up here, her lights was about to get turned off because she obviously could not afford to pay anybody $600 a month. So I started SCAD, and SCAD is something else. Like, I don't know how it is now, but when I went there, my experience with it was just like, no. Like, it was bad, because it was just like, it felt like high school, but not my high school, but like a high school that you would see on TV, like Mean Girls or something like that. Like, it was so high school. Like, it was just high school. Like, that's exactly what it was. That's the only way that I can explain it. Like, they would have like the upperclassmen sitting in this place, and you couldn't sit there, and I was a transfer student, and it was just like, what the hell is this, you know? And like, you couldn't eat in class, you couldn't be late to class, you couldn't miss any days. It was just, I was just like, am I in jail? Like going from DePaul, which is so independent, like I had so much independence and I had to do everything on my own, to this place where it's just like I'm back in elementary school or something. Like, I wasn't having that. Like, in my mind, I wasn't having that. Like, it was horrible. And so I ended up taking 3 classes, because you can only take like 3 classes there, because you know, it was an art school and it was very, very intense. Like, the projects took forever. Like, you could only take 3 classes. So one of the classes I took was a drawing class, which is mandatory, and everybody don't know how to draw, okay? Like, everybody is not artistic like that. So everybody that was in my class was like freaking Picasso. Like, they just knew what they were doing. Like, every single piece of artwork looked amazing, and my drawings looked like a 5-year-old drawings. And the teacher was like, I'm gonna grade you off of your skill level, okay? Not anyone else's skill level, your skill level. And no, like, she ended up giving me a C. And you know, I would have took that C. I would have accepted that C. But come to find out, to keep my scholarship, I needed to maintain a 3.0. My advisor tells me this halfway through the quarter, because they had quarters too. Halfway through the quarter, my advisor tells me this, and I'm just like, I'm gonna lose my scholarship because I don't know how to draw. I'm gonna lose my scholarship because I don't know how to draw. Yeah, I'm talking to my advisor and he's telling me this, and he's just like, well, here are your options if you do lose your scholarship. Here are your options. And the options were way more, like this school is like $50,000 a year. So imagine me losing my scholarship. I probably would have owed these people like a lot of money. And in the dorms, like nothing. Like, I would have had to pay these people so much money to enroll into the next quarter if I would have lost my scholarship. So when he's telling me this information, I just start bawling my eyes out. Like, I just start crying hysterically. And my advisor is just looking at me like he's just looking at me like, well, I'm gonna take you to our school's counselor, and you can talk to him about this, right? So he takes me over to the school therapist, right? It was just like a little walk. Like, he just took me on a little walk across the hall to the school therapist. And the school therapist was like, okay, we're gonna get you in right now. So basically, I'm talking to the therapist, and he's just like not saying anything. Like, he was just very, very quiet the whole time. And he's just like, just tell me what's on your mind. So I'm telling him what's on my mind. I just start crying hysterically. And he's just like, oh my gosh, that is so much to deal with. And I was just like, I don't know how my life ended up like this. And so basically, he's just like talking to me, and it really, really helped. Actually, it like really, really helped. He was just like, okay, we're gonna have to see you at least 2 times a week, you know, to make sure you're on the right track. And I'm just like, hold on now, it's not that serious. I can pull myself together. So I ended up going to him a second time, but the second time I put on a brave face and I acted like everything was fine, you know, like everything's gonna be okay. And he was just like, oh, I'm so glad you're doing so much better. You know, because I didn't want to see him twice a week. Like, I didn't want to. So I was just like, yeah, so I'll just come in and come visit you sometime, you know. Because I really was not trying to, you know, see this man twice a week. I ain't had time for that. So, yeah, I'm still working on these projects and stuff. I'm just like, okay, I can try to get a B in this class. You know I don't know how to draw, but I can try my best to get a B in this class. You know, I had some friends in the class, and I was just like, you know, don't you want to help me out with this little, like, come on now, just to paint a little something for your girl, you know. Yeah, I ended up getting a C in that class, ended up losing my scholarship, and I wasn't in school again. Like they kicked me out of school, and I didn't have no place to go. I was just out of school for another semester, or for another for another semester. I wasn't in school, and that was like 2000. So basically I went 2 winters without being in school. So I didn't go to school from January to July in 2013, and I didn't go to school from January to July in 2014. So now I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I just transferred schools, it didn't work out. Like, I can't transfer again. Like, I don't have any credits. Like, they're not taking my DePaul credits, because we took a bunch of DePaul classes that no one's gonna take. And it was just like, dang, like, what the hell am I gonna do in my life? Like, I just went to 2 different schools, and neither one of them worked out. At this point, I was just like, I'm done with school. School is not for me. Like, school ain't for everybody. I don't care what my mom says. I'm not going to another college. Like, I'm done. And I'm gonna just find a job, and I'm gonna just work, and that's just gonna be that. So in my mind, having like this random conversation with this guy that I used to really like back in the day, and it was so weird because I really wasn't talking to him like that at that point. And he was just like, he used to make me feel like super bad about everything that I did. And he was just like, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, you're not in school. Like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, and it made me feel so bad that it was just like, I need to go back to school, you know? And I feel like people come into your life for a reason. Even those people who try to make you feel shitty and try to make you feel bad about yourself, like, these people come into your life for a reason. Maybe they was here to make you get back on your game or whatever, or make you prove them wrong or whatever. But yeah, in that moment, I was just like, I need to go back to school, and I need to, you know, get my credits up, and I need to graduate. Like, I didn't come this far to just stop. So at that point, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna enroll in go to community college, and I'm gonna go to community college, and I'm gonna get my credits up. Okay, I'm gonna take like 5-6 classes this summer, and next thing you know, I'm gonna be graduating like I was supposed to graduate. Okay, oh, it's a community college right around the street from me, and they got a parking lot, free parking. Come on now. So I ended up going to the community college right by my house, and I was taking like 5 classes, and I really got my credits up. And at that community college is where I learned that my major was going to be journalism. Like, I learned that at community college because I had this one professor, I don't remember her name, but she made us write like this 16-page paper. It was like an argument paper, and I was just like, this is my calling. Like, I love writing. Like, this is what is going to be my major when I go back to school. So I was just like, maybe I should just go ahead and enroll back into DePaul. I mean, like, I know I didn't really like it there, and I thought the people were racist, and you know, but if I change my attitude, I can, you know, make the best out of this time and enjoy my experience here and graduate and get my diploma and say that I did it. So I ended up registering for classes back at DePaul that fall, and I was able to just register for classes. Like, I didn't have to reapply or anything because I really wasn't gone that long. And I think that you can be gone for up to like 6 quarters before you have to like reapply to the school. So I was completely fine. Like, I still had my old ID, it still worked, like everything was fine. And I decided to go back to DePaul because, you know, they had a lot of stupid credits that wouldn't transfer over to another school. So I was just like, I might as well just go back here and transfer over my SCAD credits and transfer over my community college credits. And the next thing you know, I'm going to be about this joint. And that's exactly what happened. So I was going to community college and I was doing DePaul at the same time. Sometimes I would, like some quarters and semesters, I would end up doing like 22 credit hours. And it was really, really hard. I wasn't working. That's like around the time that I started making YouTube videos. And yeah, that's the only thing that I was doing. I was making YouTube videos and getting my little YouTube checks, and which was not a lot back then. And yeah, I was just doing that and going to community college and going to university at the same time. I would do like specific days where I would just be at community college, and I would do like days where I would just be at the university. And yeah, like I just did that, and it was so much cheaper to do like community college and university. On the two schools at the same time, and I did that for a long time, all the way up until like I had only 60 credit hours left at DePaul. And when you get down to 60 credit hours, they're not going to transfer over any more credits. So I couldn't go to community college after that. But I did that, and I continued on, and I like kept working hard. And yeah, I just ended up graduating on June the 11th, 2017. And yeah, I finally graduated college, and wasn't even really that far behind. Like I only graduated a year late, and it's just like, wow, like college went so fast. It's like, looking back on it, it was like a very, very hard time for me. Like it was a lot of climbing mountains to get over the hills, but all in all, I really am happy that I got my degree. I'm happy that I got my degree in journalism, and I'm just super happy that I was able to just overcome everything and get my college degree. Like that's huge. Like I'm very, very proud of myself. Like every day I think about like, wow, I overcame a lot to get to the point that I am. And you know, thank God for student loans, because I'm gonna have to pay a lot back. But yeah, another reason why I wasn't able to like take out a loan or whatever like freshman year is because I kept getting denied for loans. So like I used to like pray that I would get accepted for the loans. So it doesn't even matter. I'm just happy I got my degree. I'm happy I finished this thing, and I hope to never have to sit in another classroom again. I might go back to school one day, you know, but not anytime soon. No, I need a break. If you got through this video, praise the Lord, because I know it's going to be super, super long. But yeah, give me a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button down below so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!